about this because I didn't have all the details, didn't have all enough research. I didn't see enough to know enough. You know what I'm saying? When I heard Trump talking about Ilhan Omar, and I heard all the black Republicans, speaking on her, and seen some of the stuff they were saying. I said I'm gonna keep my peace because what does that have to do with me, with my black Republicans? What do I have to do with them Somalis in Minnesota? Until I seen Nick Shirley on YouTube, and he went around interviewing like you all these daycares, and no kids were. Where are the kids? Somalians in Minnesota, where are the kids? I mean, I feel bamboozled. I feel jacked. I feel robbed, and I think every American, true American, no matter what color, every true American with the spirit of patriotism in them, that is a true patriot and American, you should feel bamboozled by the Somalian people. Let me tell you something. One thing I didn't agree with was Trump calling all the Somalians trash. I don't think we should take one ethnic group and call them all trash just because there's a vast majority misrepresenting the population. I'm going to say that because I believe in my heart somewhere in America there are true American Somalians, even good Christian conservative Somalians somewhere in America. So I will not allow these bad apples in Minnesota cause me to put a blanket over the whole Somalian race and say that every Somalian in the U.S. is trash. That's not right. Just because, there's a big portion of them misrepresenting themselves in Minnesota. However, the population that Nick Shirley showed on his video when he was interviewing these daycares did represent a majority of Somalians that are not assimilated, are not American, seemed very racist. And as soon as they were getting exposed, they were quick to call Nick discriminatory, racist. Oh, you're discriminating, you're harassing us. And it's like, no one's harassing you. Where are the kids? Answer the questions. If you have nothing to hide, let him and the other gentleman in, show them around the daycare. And I just feel so bad. I don't know about y'all, but I feel so bad for little Joey. Okay, because little Joey could not find a spot in the daycare because little Joey was white. Now, Nick went all around Minnesota to each and every daycare. And whenever he did find a black Somali, Minnesotian, or whatever you want to call them, they were not welcoming at all to the white man. You could tell they hated the white man. They were un-American. They were unassimilated. They were stuck in their little racist bubble. But in order to hide the fraud, the millions of dollars that each daycare was stolen, the millions of dollars that I think even the press said that they stole about $2 billion together. Even Tim Walz himself said, yes, they stole billions of dollars, but what did he say? But Somalians do good for DEI. They do good for diversity. And it's like, if this would have been black Americans or any other regular Americans, we would have been thrown in prison right now, prosecuted. It would have been a felony. We would have our black tails in prison. But because these are immigrants from another country that did not help build this country, by the way, like African Americans, which I wouldn't have a problem with if you were assimilated, if you weren't racist, if you loved America and Americans, and you weren't being so hateful to the white man. And if you had nothing to hide, even if you know he's there to say that y'all are fraud, that you guys are frauding the system and stealing millions, let him in. Show him the daycare. Show him the kids. Where are the kids, Minnesota? Where are the kids? Everybody wants to know now. After Nick showed up, where are the kids, Somalians? Where are the kids? Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that there probably aren't any American Somalis in here, even good Christian Somalis in this country, because I'm sure they are. But those in Minnesota are a huge scam, and we need to, let me tell you something. Fraud of the year, gangster award of the year, fraud of the year for fooling the dumb Democratic Party and stealing all the American taxpayers, our money, goes to them. Because if it would have been any other American citizen, we would have been prosecuted already, sitting behind bars, waiting to serve our sentence or to get shipped to prison. Because this is not just a crime. This is a felony, what the Somalians are doing in Minnesota. And I'm pissed. And I feel like every true American should be pissed because they have smuggled at least about $3 billion. Millions. Each daycare have smuggled millions. And it's just like a tunnel. It's just like a ring. The whole Somalian community, at least in Minnesota, At least most of them. It looks like about 99%. It may be a good 1% hiding somewhere in Minnesota, but at least the ones that are being shown, even in that first video where they were trying to kill the man just for spanking the Quran with pork, yeah, it's disrespectful, but you shouldn't be trying to kill him. One dude was literally like saying, yeah, I'll go to jail, I'll go to prison, murder. That's evil. It just shows that these individuals are not assimilated. And I think the first thing they try to do is go to their skin color and be like, see, you're a white man, we're black, so you're racist. But where were y'all when the black people needed y'all, when we were struggling, when we were asking people for help? You guys were not there. You weren't black until now. You were saying that you weren't black. You were saying, I even heard someone online saying they're dark-skinned Europeans. You guys weren't black then, so you shouldn't be black now. That's not to all of them, because like I said, I'm sure there's some good ones out there somewhere, but it's not this group in Minnesota. And I just wanted to share my thoughts. I was enraged. One thing I really hated as a Christian while watching Nick's video, hello, Manila Bejic. One thing I really did not like while watching the video as a Christian and a black conservative was how blatantly racist they were. Every time Nick went to one of the daycares in Minnesota and asked the Somalians, hi, I'm here to see if my son Joey, who I think doesn't even exist, but my heart feels so broken for imaginary Joey, because Joey couldn't find a place because of the color of their skin. I was pissed because of how racist they were. And one Somalian dude even told him, oh, Joey's place is up there. This ain't a place for Joey because he's white. And it's like, how different? What is the difference between what they're doing to Nick because he's white and then screaming that he's racist when they're discriminating against him because he's not Somalian? And I would bet it wouldn't even just be to white folks. It would be to regular African Americans, basically anyone who wasn't in their little community or their big community of Somalians. You're not welcome. And that's not the American way. The American way, I know even in the hood, okay, some of the worst hoods, with a small exception of a few of them that may treat some little white kids bad, but most of them, even if it's all black daycare in the hood, we've always been a welcoming people. And if white kids showed up and little Joey showed up and little Sally showed up, they was, matter of fact, by the time they got out that daycare, that little elementary, they was going to be the little, you know, which I would call M&Ms, the little, basically the little soul white kids. They was going to grow up being like vanilla chocolate. They was going to be the white girl and the black girls that talk black, act, you know, they weren't even acting because all they knew was black people. We are welcoming. We wasn't going to turn them around because they was white. And I don't like this, what they're doing with Somalians. And my heart just broke because I was like, matter of fact, moment of silence for imaginary Joey, who couldn't find a place in the daycare system of Minnesota because these Somalians with black skin were racist because little Joey had white skin. That is not the Christ-like way. It is not the American way. You guys say you're a religion of peace. You say you love people and you hate no one. You hated the imaginary little Joey because he was a white little boy. And that is not American. America and Dr. King's dream, even though we found out some stuff about, well, anyway, it was for blacks, whites, Asians, everyone, Latinos or still Europeans, everyone, Indians, to come together, right? For a daycare, a school, a high school, to be integrated. And to see that these Somalians are coming over here, stealing your money, your American money. And I feel bad for the people in Minnesota. It's a lovely church there that I watch online. And I really was like, because I'm looking for a good church home to relocate to. It's called Grace Apostolic Church. And I was like, whoo. And then I seen this and I realized it's a Democratic state and Tim Watts is doing a horrible job. You know, Tampon Tim, he's doing a horrible job. And I said, I can't do it. And even every little area he was showing going to these daycares, it looked scummy. It looked trashy. It did not look well together. It didn't look clean. It looked bad. But it's just to see them being so, off-putting toward Americans, off-putting toward anybody that's not Somalian, to just be in their own community. And then most of them was looking at them crazy. Most of them seemed like they didn't speak English. And when they did, it was just no, or slamming the door, or you're racist. One lady even said, I'm scared of you because of your skin. And I'm trying to figure out, why are you scared of a regular white guy that he wasn't about no life. He wasn't a cop. He wasn't no KKK because he's white. And you're in America. And we all know this is the white man's country. If you're scared of him because of his skin, I want to remind you that this is still a white man's country. And if you and all the demonic Muslim liberals, even some of the black liberals, even some of the white liberals, you hate the white man so much, guess what? America's not for you. America is still the white man's country. Now, the black man, the black woman, the Asian man, Indian man, like everybody else can still come over here and have a good life and have a dream. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, we bow down and worship them. All I'm saying is that, yes, they colonized the place. This is majority of a European nation. So if you're saying, since the Somalian lady said to Nick, I'm scared of you because of your skin, that was a racist thing to say to me, then it's like, why are you in America, which is a predominantly white country? Go back to Somalia, a predominantly black African Somalian country. From the way they were acting, the racism and all that, I hate it. We're talking about the Somalians in Minnesota, embezzling, and stealing and frauding the American people's money by the millions. I think they said it was like $3 billion that was stole all together. And we're talking about Nick's video, how he went to Minnesota and every daycare he went to, there was no kids. Where are the kids, Minnesota? Where are the kids? And yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts. I thought it was pretty disgusting how unassimilated, un-American, how racist they really were. But as soon as they were getting exposed for not having kids, for not being open, I think that and for the windows being dark and tinted, I think that the word started to get around that Nick was going from daycare to daycare. So I think that people was like leaving their homes and like popping up. And that's why there was no kids, but every few daycare, every few healthcare, somebody would pop out, but nobody was there because word was getting around that he's in town exposing the fraud. So then people was leaving real quick and like going to each one because they knew he was finna hit up each one after a certain point. Word was getting around. If word would not have gotten around and they would not have known he was in town, every place he went to would have been dark, curtains closed, what do you call that? Black stuff on the window, just windows tinted, nobody there. You could tell there's no kids. You can tell nobody's at the healthcare system. And because he was exposing this, the first thing they had to say was, oh, you're racist. Oh, you're harassing us. Why is it harassment and why is it racist for him to say, can I look around your daycare? Can I fill out an application for my child to come? If you're going to be in America, you should be assimilated. And if you're going to be in America and then anybody, and if you have a daycare in the city, an American city, anybody of any color should be able to enroll their child. And for you to tell him, no, this is not the place for Joey, like that one Somalian dude, Joey's place is going to be up there, then I want to say to all you racist, evil, Muslim Somalians, your place is in Somalia. You don't belong here. I hope each and every one of you get deported, whether you're illegal or not, because you're not assimilated. You're un-American, and a lot of you are full of hate and racism, and your religion does it to you. And let me be very clear. I believe in legal immigration. However, the Christian part of me also knows that there may be some illegal immigrants that are saved, that are Christian. But guess what? For those, I pray that God has mercy. And for those, I know that even before what Trump says or anybody else, if God is for you, who can be against you, right? For those humble, saved Christian illegals that are not here cussing people out, throwing up the middle finger, saying F you to the white man and to Christians and to this and that, that's quietly like, Lord, make a way, huh? Because I know you said obey the laws of the land, but I just want a better life. Lord, make a way. I don't want no trouble. I don't want to disrespect. I want my kids. For them, I believe that God will have mercy and make a way. For them, I am not against. Let me be very clear. There are some illegal Christian immigrants. There are some saved illegals in other countries that want to come over here. And even if Trump has blocked it, God will make a way. Even some that may be over here, for those, God will protect and make a way. For the rest of y'all that are racist, arrogant, full of hate, unassimilated, disrespecting, throwing up the F finger, you can't even talk English. It's only about you and your people, yet you trying to be all over in America and trying to create your own country in America, so much so that you're excluding every other American because they don't look or speak your language. You can get the heck out of here. I don't care if you're black like me, like these Somalians, or if you're Indian, or if you're Jap, or if you're Western. I don't care what it is. If you could be European, you could be from Belgium, and if you're saying F America, F Trump, and go back to your country. Get what I'm saying? You have to be willing to be assimilated. You have to be willing to know that America is for a place that for that is for everybody. So children of every color should be able to come to the daycare. Even if they're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, it should be a welcoming place for everybody. You know, at least it should be a positive atmosphere, you know. Some things, just when you go to daycare, you just go to daycare. We're not here to have any type of religious service. So there's no way that you should be turning this little white boy named Joey away. I mean, I just hated the way they treated him. I hated the way they kept trying to play the race card because they were getting exposed for stealing the millions, for not having any kids. Where are the kids and the money? I feel so bad for the people of Minnesota because your money is going to Caspers. To individuals that don't exist. Matter of fact, it's going to all of these racist, unassimilated, American hating people called the Somalians in Minnesota. Now, I didn't say every Somali. I said somewhere in America there's probably a good group. But the ones in Minnesota have proven to not be it. Unassimilated, un-American, ungodly, racist. But they claim the white man is the racist. And I said I was going to wait. When I heard everybody talking trash about Ilhan Omar, when I heard Trump say, I'm going to wait because I don't have all the facts. I don't know. But seeing this video and how they treated this young man, because even if you say he's there to prove y'all to be a fraud, if you don't have nothing to hide, like I have to say, hey, come in. Here are the kids. Here's an application. We are not a fraud. We are very much open. These are the kids. As you can see, the number in your paper says 92. There are 92 kids here. Did you see any of that happen? Instead, all you saw was doors slamming, people getting attitudes, people claiming him of being racist, them saying he's harassed, and then constantly calling the police on him. And to even at a point where the police were pissing me off because it seemed like the police were taking up for these people. First thing they want to say is it's a private business. It's a fraudulent business, stealing money from the American people, stealing your taxpayers' money. Well, the people of Minnesota, but all Americans around the country, our poor sisters and brothers, our poor American sisters and brothers have been bamboozled. How do we let a group of people that are running to America for asylum, for safety, because they come from a country that's not doing well? I'm not gonna disrespect your country, right? Because I'm Afrocentric. I'm down with the diaspora. But have you ever been down with us though? I gotta be honest. They only for themselves. All I'm saying is if you're coming here and you're seeking a better life, assimilate, do the right thing. How do you come over here and steal money from the very people that are helping you? The white Christians that are helping give money to the African American daycares. Because if y'all don't know, I say it more time after time again. While it may be a good few black people like me that if we got money, we millionaires, we gonna give. That's my heart, right? Even now I give. But for the most part, it's always the white Christians, even MAGA, that give the most. I went to a HBCU. I go to one right now. And guess what? Even when I was there, it was a bunch of rich, elderly white people that was giving to us black urban kids because they wanted us to make a difference. They understood what our ancestors went through, and this was their way of paying back. And they didn't owe us nothing, but they wanted to. They understood the history, so they wanted to pave the way for the black youth. And they gave millions, and we honored them. So whether you're black, white, if you're American, for people to come, like I said, from a struggling country and come over here for a better life, but then turn around and slap you in the face by stealing your money and then not even doing the thing that they said they were proposed to do with it. Propose, not suppose. This is what I propose to the government that we're going to do. We're going to open a daycare agency. We're going to open healthcare. They had like 22 of the same healthcare units in the same business that Nick was exposing. If you watch, I think it's Nick, I forgot his last name, his channel. What was his last name? Y'all, I done forgot. But anyway, I just don't think, it's just not the right thing to do. It was very, y'all, I was so pissed watching that. I was so pissed. And I'm so glad his video went viral because Tim Watts needs to be thrown in prison. Each and every one of these people, even a lot, I hate to say it, but a lot of these Somalians need to be locked up. It is a felony what they're doing. If somebody went in a bank and robbed the bank for $1,000, y'all would give them about 18 years. And somehow we got all these fake, fraudulent Somalians out here, so-called running these daycares, running these healthcare systems that have stole millions and are still at home with their families enjoying life while they're stealing for the American people. That's a slap in our face. The same country that gave you a second chance. If you were going to come over here and be a millionaire, by all means do it the right way, the legal way, not by crapping and essing on us, not by slapping us, not by doing stealing and being a lie and fraudulent and not doing what you're saying you're doing, because every place you show that they showed on the video, there was no kids. The lights were dim. And when they did open the doors, because word had got around, so they wanted to play it off, they wouldn't let them in. No kids were there. Slamming the door. And it's just, y'all, what's going on in Minnesota is evidence of how far America has gotten from what we used to be. You could not do this 20, 30 years. You couldn't have a group of immigrants come in seeking asylum that's screwing the American people and the American system over so much that they have bamboozled you a whole city, a whole state out of $3 billion, millions upon millions of a whole Somalian ring. Y'all heard of the Jamaican ring? We might as well call this the Somalian ring because all these Somalians are in on it together in Minnesota. Okay, and the ones that are in Minnesota, they don't look like they a good group of people. They don't look like they even like America. They look like they trying to start their own country only for their own people. They don't even care about no other black folks, no African Americans, no white folks. Like I said, I don't even think it was just against little white Joey. They wouldn't let me and my little black nappy headed self in there because I'm not Somalian. And that's a problem. That is not the American way. So I hope they get deported. Yes, I do. Because they're full of hate, they're full of rage. They had the nerve to steal millions of dollars from American people, and Tim Watts had the nerve to admit, yes, they been buzzled, they stole billions, but guess what? The Somalians, they give a lot to the diversity, equity, and inclusion in Minnesota. So we need them. They sow a lot into the diversity of the city. So because you're a black person from another country, because if they was black African American, they would have been in prison doing life right now. That's you done stole millions of dollars. Judge with a boom, you got life. Democrat or Republican would have gave them life, but because they're a black person, un-American from another country, immigrant, and they can claim this DEI thing, Tim Watts want to be like, oh, but they just offer so much to the diversity, to the richness of Minnesota. Where would Minnesota be without the Somalian people? That's why they've changed the Minnesota flag into almost a Somalian flag. And I'm not against diversity. I'm not, but I am when it takes the place of Americans, right? Or America or American first. When you're trying to come over here and make this your country, right? By all means, love where you come from, right? I'm getting in my roots. I'm Nigerian. I'm trying to learn more about that country. I understood if I was like a pure Nigerian, right? Like 100% Nigerian from Nigerian. I'm not going to come over here and just forget that I'm Nigerian. I'm going to still bring my culture. But what I'm still going to do is assimilate and respect America and still let you know that I'm still American. Yes, I'm Nigerian. I never forgot my culture, my language, my music, but I'm still glad to be here. I'm still letting you know I'm still American. Like I have the same values you have. I'm assimilated. I'm willing to cooperate and work with everyone. And I'm willing to play my part the healthy, productive, and legal way, which does not include scamming people out of millions of dollars, okay? And then it doesn't include being racist and then just starting up businesses, whether it's daycares, clubs, movie theaters, whatever you want to call it, gyms, and saying only Somalians allowed, nobody else, only Somalians, and then if it's a white man, oh, you're racist. No, you're frauding, you're fraudulent. This is a felony. What all y'all need to be deported and then thrown in prison in your country. It's even a privilege for them to go to prison in America. These people and their government, every one of them in the Somalian ring needs to be deported and thrown in prison in their country because they're slapping all Americans in their face. They're not grateful to be here. They seem to think they're better. They are unassimilated and they only want it for them and theirs. And that's the problem. You got to be willing to do things the right way. And if you're going to run a daycare, run a daycare. Don't steal millions of dollars. Don't do anything fraudulent. If you're going to be a millionaire, do it the legal way. Do it the way where you didn't have to steal to be fraudulent, where you worked your way, years and years of hard work, or even in a year or two, but you worked so hard that you made the money yourself. And you can say, hey, we came from this country. I put on for my people, but we're welcoming to all people. We are American. We thank God for this American dream. None of that is what you're hearing from the Somalians. It's Somalia, Somalians only. I'm here for Somalia. We're bringing Somalia to America. God promised us this year, this land 2,000 years ago. What are you talking about? This is not Somalian. Somalia, this is America, sir. That's the whole new thing they say. God promised us this land 2,000 years. This ain't your land. This is not Somalia. This is America. I am not I'm a black woman, right? I'm not anti immigrant diversity on. I just think you should do it the right way. But even if you was here, like I said before, illegal, you should be humble, right? If you save and you Christian, God can make a way. I don't care if Trump is in office for you to still get what you need to be legal. If you humble and you save, because you got to understand, God is still in control. He knows who's humble and who's not. Not Santa Claus, God do. And if you a child of God, he gonna make a way, whatever, because mercy, right? Mercy comes before everything, especially when you his child. But if you ain't his child now, and then they had, they stealing millions. It's just so much going on with Minnesota, y'all, that I just had to comment. I was disgusted as a black person seeing black people be so racist to Nick in the video, and then try to scream, racism. Oh, you're doing this because you're the white man. Oh, you're this, you're that. Like, and then the white lady was like ISIS. I mean, it ain't nothing worse than the crazy liberal white woman or the crazy liberal black folks, So I don't know. I just think that they need to do a whole recleaning, a whole sweeping up of the government in Minnesota. The people need to vote Tim Watt. I don't know how he's still in with the whole tampons and everything cricket he's doing, and this whole thing coming up, and you still in office. They should have impeached him or something. Like, I heard somebody say something about audit, whatever y'all got to do to switch that government around, because that whole thing is a scam. It's a whole fraudulent Somalian scam ring, and they have played the American people. We have been bamboozled. We have been pissed on, effed on. Okay, they have slapped us in our face after we said, "Come, welcome. We welcome you to take refuge in our country." Only thing you have to do is assimilate and do things the legal way. We don't have a problem with you being wealthy, putting on for your people. But at the same time, like I said, do things. If you say you're gonna do this the right way, do that, and it should be for everybody, not just your people. And if you just want it for your people, that's fine and jolly by me. Just go back to your country. If you just want Somalians only, hey baby, more power to you. Go back to Somalia. You don't belong in America. America's for everybody. America is where at elementaries, junior high, colleges, children and students, teenagers, young adults of every nationality come together and learn to work together and learn about different ways of life. Even if we don't agree, we should agree, but we come together and we learn together. We don't, this is not the 60s, It's like they're doing what the white people did to us back in the 60s. And now they flipping it and saying, oh, just us. And then when the white man want to expose them because he's white and intelligent like Nick is, oh, you're racist. No, he's smart. He's doing what all the journalists and the people on TV used to do 20, 30 years ago. And I hope he gets an award. Like, I hope they give him a job at Fox News, or he needs to get money, because baby, he just uncovered a bed of worms in Minnesota that Tim Waltz and Ihan Omar and everybody else is trying to cover, and the Democrats. Baby, this Nick, is it Nick Sawyer, Nick Ashley, Nick something? What's his name? He done just uncovered, for y'all who know, everybody should know who I'm talking about. He just uncovered a whole bed of worms. Like, he just unleashed the can. Pandora's box is open, and now there has to be something done. We can't hide this anymore. And I hope Trump deports. Let me tell you something. One thing about Trump, baby, Trump don't play that. Trump gonna see this video, and oh baby, it's gonna be some consequences. The nerve in him to have that attitude with him, because he was exposing him after they done stole our money, the people of Minnesota, and we let you over here and you slap us in your face and you say, only the one with the silver slippers, just like they did in the Wiz. You say, only the Somalians. You say, to the African Americans. You say, to the Mexicans. You say, to the Puerto Ricans. You say, to the white, to everybody that is not Somalian, okay? You might let a few, what do you call that, tokens in to act like you not what you is, but we already see what you is. You only for you and yours. You're not assimilated. You're un-American. You hate the white man. You hate Christians. You hate America. You really just want to turn this into a Muslim Somalia, and that's what this is not. So y'all gotta go. Say it with me. Say it with me. Out with the old, in with the new. Somalians in Minnesota, y'all got to go. If you only for you and you got to go. Nothing is stopping you from going through the door. What they say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. You gotta go. Just like he used to say on the Cosby Show, and that man used to come out. I'm trying to get him to come out and get them hit. They gotta go. I hope each and every last one of them get deported, because they were so full of hate, very un-American. And I just wanted to give my 2 cents. It was disgusting to see that, even as a black young lady. It was very disgusting. Now let me read your comments. Melina Bejic said, I have a question. What is your question? Sometimes you just gotta embezzle millions to make it. What's the issue with the Somalians? I've been hearing people talking about it a lot lately, they've opened up fraudulent daycares and healthcare centers in Minnesota, and they've embezzled and stolen millions of dollars that these government loans have given to them for these hundreds of children they're supposed to have at each daycare, and there are no children there. Where are the children? To the Somali in Minnesota. Where are the children, Tim Watts? Where are the children, Ihan Omar? Where are the children, Democrats of Minnesota? Where? And why does it look so bad up there? I know it's snowing and stuff, but it shouldn't look that. It looked trashy. It almost, I hate to say it, it looked like the hood, but it almost looking like a third world country. Don't come over here making our land look bad. Clean up the streets of Minnesota. Get those crick. If there are any good ones, by all means, whole group they shown, it's seeming like a lot of them are not meant to be here. They're not assimilated. They don't want the best for the American people. They don't want to assimilate into societies with other people. It's just them and theirs. They don't want to do things the legal way. They want to come over here and steal our money and take millions from us. They done stole about $3 billion altogether, and they still walking around freely. They're not in prison. This is a felony. They need to be deported and thrown into prison. So I said my 2 cents. I've talked about the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, how the humble ones, God can still make a way because I am Christian. Guess what? God got the final say. But for these non-American, non-Christian, white man hating, American hating, unassimilated people, you can go back to where you come from. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Peace. I hope Trump cleans house in Minnesota. And I'll end it with that. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because right here, guess what? We keep it about Jesus over everything. God is love. But y'all got to remember that even in the Bible, God says, obey the laws of the land. There's no way I will be coming from Nigeria, coming from Mali, coming from Congo, coming from Senegal, coming from South Africa, coming from China, Asia, Mexico, Spain, France, England, UK, and coming to America and then talking about F y'all and then stealing your money after you gave me the opportunity, especially you come from a third world country though. Like, that's poverty. It's just bad, right? There's no way I'm gonna come over here and then S-word on all the Americans and then steal y'all money. And then when they try to confront me about, oh, you a racist, it's because I'm black. Baby, no, it's because you're a scam. You're a fraudulent. Y'all always talking that crap, talking about Nigerians or scams. Baby, we need to change the language because the new award for the scams, for the African scammers are the Somalians. Baby, the Somalians got the Nigerians beat down to the ground. They ate them down in the scamming ground. And I be taking up because I'm 43% Nigerian. So when I hear people be talking about my people, they be talking about, oh, Nigerians are scammers. I be taking up because I'm Nigerian. I'm a black girl, I'm Nigerian. The Nigerian in me be getting mad. Okay? I be getting mad, but let me tell you something. Y'all got to give the new award for the African scamming group to the Somalians because they ate the Nigerians down with this scamming down. It ain't the Nigerians no more. Y'all can't name the Nigerians for being scammers. You got to now give that King Scamming African Award to the Somalian. This is the new African country with the most scamming, with the gangster scamming. They done scammed the American people out of about $3 billion, and they still ain't in prison. Okay, and the award goes to y'all. That was gangster. Y'all effed on us. You pissed in our face. You slapped us, and you still here. And the Democrats still taking up for y'all because they stupid. The rest of us, you gotta go. I hope Trump deports each and every last one of y'all that are unassimilated, American hating, Christ hating, Christian hating, and trying to turn this nation into a Muslim country. And then got the nerve to try to tell women in Minnesota when they're walking through certain parts at night, you got to dress a certain way. You got to wear a hijab. You got to do this or it'll be consequences. This isn't Africa. This isn't Somalia. This isn't a Muslim land. We can't have that. So I hope Trump cleans house because this is unacceptable. And every American and every patriot should be pissed. You should be fighting back. There needs to be an audit. There needs to be a government cleanse in Minnesota. There needs to be a purging of the whole government system in Minnesota because it is a scam. It is fraudulent. It is detrimental. It is unhealthy. It is dangerous for the American people and for the USA in general. We cannot allow these poisonous people, these people that are infected with hate and jihadism and wickedness and scamming and stealing from the very ones that were trying to help them spread and spread these false doctrines and these pre-Palestine and Muslim doctrines and hate the white man and hate Christian doctrines on our college campuses, in our black neighborhoods, in the white. We cannot allow this poison, these poisonous people to infect American citizens. If you want to be that way in Somalia. Be big and bad by your own self and leave us alone and give us our money back. Okay? Deport, 2 words, deportation and prison to those Somalians in Minnesota. Take back our country, Americans. Patriots, rise up. We have to fight for what's ours. We don't deserve this. Americans in Minnesota that have had their money, their taxpaying money, given to these people that went to them, went to their houses, their cars, their new high jobs, their new fabrics. I don't know what they spending the money on, because they don't dress like black folks, like white folks. They ain't got no swag. What the woman wearing? High jobs and shower curtains and stuff. What you spending the money on? Only thing you could be spending the money on is a new car and a new house. Y'all can't wear nothing. You can't get your hair done. I don't even know if you get your nails done. Some of y'all might wear makeup and you might say it's ignorant, but they really don't dress like that. So they only spending it on cars, clothes. That's what they doing. They sending the money back to Somalia. So if you want to build up Somalia so much, go back. Y'all done sent millions, billion, about 3 billion. You done sent all this money, all these millions back to Somalia. You haven't even invested it back into the American economy that you stole it from. You sent it back to your country. So then you need to go back to your country, because your time's up here. Peace, love, and blessings. Before I leave, yes, I want to extend that Jesus saves. Acts 2:38. Repent, be baptized in Jesus' name for forgiveness of your sins, and ye shall receive the Holy Spirit. Muslims, Jesus is the way. The difference between the 2 books is one is a book of love, the other one teaches hate and kill the infidel. Okay, and we can't have that. So get your tail up out of here and go back to Somalia. Peace, love, and blessings. Bye. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm done with this.